Morning, everybody. My name's Peter C. We're here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. And today we're going to be looking at a 2026 Renegade Verona 40VRB. So the Verona is built on an M2 106 chassis. This is 40 feet and 1 inches in length. So, still pretty maneuverable at that size. On the Verona chassis, you're going to have an 8.9 liter Cummins engine up front, which is 360 horsepower and 1,150 foot-pounds of torque. So that gives this a 20,000 pound towing capacity. What's nice about the Super Cs, as you can see with this being a front engine, it's really easy to get in here. I could be standing inside the wheel well here. So it's very easy to get in here to service anything that you need to, fluids, filters. Also makes it easier for any shop that you need to do work on it. So a little bit cheaper from a labor perspective. Your front hood is on gas struts, so I just push this down and it's gonna settle itself down there very slowly. One nice thing to point out right now, since we're kind of sitting in the sun, is this paint actually has this nice pearl to it. I don't know if you can catch that on the camera, Jody, but it looks very pretty in the sun. So on your left and right side, you'll have front cameras right here that are tied into your blinker. We'll show you more of that when we get into the cab, but really nice, safety feature there. We're gonna come around the other side and then we'll loop around back towards our campsite. Over here is gonna be our just other camera. That's gonna be your left camera. So all of our tires on this coach are Michelin tires with the little Renegade emblem right on the middle of it. You're gonna have your mirrors up top. This top one is an electronic mirror and the bottom one is your manual mirror. So this bottom one, just manual adjustments to see down towards the side of your coach. So any small, low profile cars are easy to see. And these are breakaway mirrors too. So you can close them like that if you need to get in somewhere tight. On this side, we're gonna have one of our fills for our diesel fuel tank. So this has 100 gallons of diesel fuel. There is a pump, so you can actually fill it from this side or the passenger side and it'll pump it in between. And that's our def fill right there. So continuing down this side, everything on this side, on your driver's side, is going to be like your wet bay, your generator, your batteries. All of the storage is going to be on the camp side, which is a really nice thing that they do. So this first compartment is going to have our batteries. On the left there, we have our 2 chassis batteries, and on the right, this actually has the lithium upgrade package that we optioned this one with. So you'll have 3 100 amp lithium batteries. Our next compartment is gonna have a little bit of storage, could be useful here, but mainly up top is gonna be our 3,000 watt inverter. And then on the back, if you can see that little black box, that is our solar controller. So this one also comes with 3 200 watt solar panels on the roof. This next one is going to be our aqua hot system. So what's really nice about the 2026 Verona versus the 2025 is this has actually been upgraded. So prior to that, 2025 and older model Veronas had the aqua hot 250D system. The 2026 now has the 450D as a standard. Previously, you had to go up to a Verona LE to get that, so it's a really nice thing they're doing on the 2026s. The aqua hot system is your hydronic heating system, so it'll work as your furnace as well as your continuous hot water heater. Now, these next 2 compartments right here are just going to be our holding tanks. So this coach has 75 gallons of gray and 75 gallons of black holding capacity. Both of them will have 12 volt heating pads on them. And down here is gonna be the pump for our macerator flow jet system. So that is actually a macerator pump that can pump your black tank out and even potentially pump it uphill if necessary. In here is gonna be our wet bay. So you do have your tank monitor system here, so we can see our fresh gray and black capacity. You have a whole house water filtration system right here. Your flow jet system, black tank dump, gray tank dump, the black tank wash over here. What I really appreciate about how Renegade does this is all of these are actually engraved directly into the metal. They're not labeled. So, as this coach ages, you don't have to worry about any of that rubbing off. It's always gonna be really easy to read. Down below you do have a freshwater spigot, and they give you a nice hose coiled up right here. So if you have pets or anything, that's a nice function to have, to be able to spray them off outdoors. Down below is going to be the exhaust for our Aquahot and the exhaust for the chassis. In this next compartment is our generator. So this is an 8,000 watt Cummins Onan quiet diesel generator. You know, we're standing right next to it right now, and you can see it is not very loud, especially when you're inside the coach. You can barely hear it. Only thing you're going to notice is a slight vibration. On the right there, that white tube is just a place to store your black tank. Your black tank hose. Now, what's nice about the generator being in the rear is they actually put the exhaust out behind the coach. Instead of having the exhaust go under one of the sides where it would be under the slides, it's vented all the way behind the coach, so it just keeps the air a little fresher up there. This final compartment down here is just going to be our 50 amp power cord. It's on a power reel, and right there is going to be our surge protector and our transfer switch. And you'd also have a little bit of additional storage in here if you wanted to. Renegade sends all their coaches with a 50 amp to 30 amp converter. So if you need to plug into 30 amp, you can. In the back, we have a 110 outlet in there as well. And in the bottom of this compartment, this cap will actually screw off, which is where you'll drop this your power cord down through. Now, since you have 110 in there as well, if you wanted to plug in an extension cord, you could also drop it through that and use that for anything you might need to supply power to outside the coach. Now, coming around the back, so this is a molded rear fiberglass cap, and it's in two pieces, which the reason that's really nice is if anyone were to get in a rear end accident with you, most likely they would only damage this bottom panel. So it's a little bit cheaper to replace versus having to replace the entire rear cap. You can see our rear camera up there above. That actually is an adjustable camera. So there's two little set screws in it that you can adjust the angle a little bit to whatever your needs are. Down below, we have a Gen Y hitch. You have your 7-way right here. This coach already comes set up with a brake controller for the trailers. And underneath it, you'll see we have the Renegade RV mud flap down there. We option pretty much all the Renegades we order here at Transwest with that. Now, coming around to our campsite. Now this is where we're gonna have all the storage. What's really nice about that is because you only have this one bed slide here, none of your storage compartments are really obstructed by having a slide, whereas on your other side you have that big half wall slide. Over here, even with all the slides out, there's very little obstruction. The first compartment right here, again, these are all just storage, so every single one of them is going to be carpeted like this. Keeps anything you put in there from sliding around too much. Also helps insulate the cab from any road noise. One big storage compartment right there. And if you look down below, there's actually a little bit of a cutout down there, which will allow you to store some longer items in here. So, tables or chairs, anything really long, you'll be able to get it in there very easily. And then finally, one long storage compartment here. So that's the separate one. So this first one has a little bit more of a cutout below. So again, you can fit a little bit longer items in there. And then these last two are one continuous compartment all the way across. So that'll allow you to get fishing poles, skis, any long items that you like to bring with you. You can fit that in there all the way across. It's probably about 9 feet in length. Underneath there, we have just the slide toppers sitting in there that you're provided from the factory. You also have an air hose here. So you can actually connect that to the ping tank on this coach and use it to air up your tires or your trailer tires. The connection for that was actually in the battery compartment we saw on the other side, right behind the driver's door. This also has a little cutout underneath it right here, so we can pop that out. If you want to run any extension cords out of your 110 outlet right there. So if you need to supply any power to anything you're doing on your campsite, you'll have an outlet right there for that. One thing I always love to point out about Renegade is every one of their compartment doors has 2 latches on it, and if you just hear when I close these, you can see how solid they are. Up above is going to be our exterior TV. So this is a Samsung TV with a Bose soundbar underneath. The Bose soundbar you can connect to Bluetooth as well, so if you want to just use it as a Bluetooth speaker outdoors, you can do that. Just connect it to your phone. One more thing to mention here on the campsite, we do have a Girard awning all the way down the side with the LED light bar underneath it. All of your windows throughout this coach are going to be double pane frameless windows, so very clean look, very well insulated. All right, so now we'll head on inside. So you have a screen door right here, and this screen door has your blackout shade on it. Nice deep footwell in here for if you want to put your shoes in there. Good storage spot for that, or anything that's kind of dirty that you want to have inside but you don't really want to make a mess out of the interior. You can slide it under there in that footwell. So on the left side of the stairs we'll have just some of our controls right here. So this is going to be our battery disconnect for the house. This is going to be the entry step override, so that's that power step to get in the coach. And then your e-start, this will actually link your chassis and house batteries together. In case you kill one of them, you can jump one off of the other. Up above, we have our fire extinguisher. And then above that is going to be our Xantrex inverter. So you just turn this off and on. If you're putting the coach into storage, you would turn that off so you avoid just any parasitic draw. Now, before we put the slides out, we'll show you what this is like with the slides in. One of the things I really like about this floor plan is it is completely usable even with the slides completely in. So I have more than enough room to walk through here. If you need to use anything in your kitchen, open your refrigerator. You can completely open your refrigerator. We can access our half bath back here. Plenty of room to operate this with the slides completely in. So we'll go ahead and put this half wall slide out now. And one of the things we can note while we're doing that is you do have soft touch ceilings all the way through this coach, which has a really nice feature, not just for insulation, but also for sound insulation. Just makes it feel a little bit more homey in here. You don't have so much of an echo. You have 2 15K BTU ACs in here with heat pumps. So one here in the living area, one more in the bedroom. All of your ACs are ducted throughout the ceiling. So we'll start off with your dinette area right here. So we have a booth dinette. This is more than spacious enough to be able to fit 4 people here pretty comfortably. We have cup holders here built in, USB-A and USB-C charging, and a 110 outlet. So if you're someone that needs to work remotely, this is a really good workstation for you. Every one of the windows in here, we're gonna have day shades and night shades. These are just pull down shades, so pull them down, they'll pop back up. All of our windows are opening, just little screw tilt outs, so we can get a little bit of airflow in here. If you're sitting here working, you get a little bit of airflow. This will have 2 seat belts on your forward-facing seat, and then we'll have 3 more seat belts back here. So in total, you could fit 5 passengers back here safely. This dinette is actually a convertible dinette. So what you can do is this whole thing will drop down to, goes down a little bit farther, but you have to remove these cushions. And then in either of these drawers, we have cushions. So what that will allow you to do is turn this into a bed. It's a bed big enough to fit 2 children or 1 small adult. If you're going out on the road and you're not going to be using the bed, you can just take these cushions out and leave them at home. And then we have 2 nice, really long storage drawers right there. Go ahead and slide those back in for us. So above your dinette, we have storage all the way across. This is all a pass-through, so it just maximizes the storage potential you can have up there. You're not limited, just 1 compartment. Now, moving back this way to the rest of our sort of living room, these are your theater seats. Now, these are probably my favorite seats they've been using in these Renegades. So on either side, we actually have power recliners. This middle seat is not a recliner, but this can convert into a little kind of table in the center. So we have USB-A, USB-C charging ports and cup holders right here. So if there's just two of you on the road, makes it a really comfortable seating arrangement. But what I really love about these seats is not only are they power recliners, so we can recline this all the way out. These are also heated seats, and they also have a massage function built in. So if you see these two buttons right here next to me, we have heat, and we also have massaging. Now, this isn't, you know, massaging like a kneading massage. It's more of a vibrating massage, but it is very, you know, very refreshing, very relaxing to sit in. Up above our couch here, we're gonna have 4 more storage compartments. And again, these are pass-throughs, so whole thing all the way across. You could fit any long items in there, anything awkward that, you know, you normally wouldn't be able to fit. You have plenty of space to be able to do that. Two more windows behind your theater seating here. And what's nice about what they do with all the windows in here is they finish off these valances all the way down. So when you have these shades closed, it kind of prevents any light creep coming in from the side, and you can truly black out this coach. So we'll move to the kitchen on the other side. So starting off at this end, you have a little bit of storage over the stairs. We have solid surface countertops right here. Let me get this out of the way. Nice, deep stainless steel sink. And it is undermounted, so it makes it look just a little bit cleaner. Stainless steel faucet here and with a sprayer wand. So just like you have at home. Same window shades behind our kitchen, and again, that is an opening window. We have a 110 outlet right here for anything you might need to plug into your countertop. Now, this one is an all-electric coach. There's no propane tanks whatsoever, so that means you get an induction burner under here. What's really nice about that is with having these covers for your induction burner, you can use all of this sink space versus like when you have a Valencia with the 2-burner gas stove. You know, you have that glass top, but it's just not quite as much usable prep space. So I do think that's a nice thing for having your induction burner. So we remove these covers, and we have a 2-burner induction stove right there. Behind it, we do have a tile backsplash all the way around, so protects your walls from any splashing grease or anything when you're cooking. Above, we have a convection microwave. So no oven on this coach, but convection microwave will serve the same purpose. Nice big storage cabinet up there. And then 2 more over here. And in here, these are actually the Renegade manuals. Now, we'll look at some of our storage underneath the sink. So this first one is a pull-out drawer. And on this side, you'll have your trash. Now, what's really cool about this is this little insert can come out right there. Inserts like that. And this actually extends your countertop space. And the way this sits on here, it's pretty solid. You don't have to worry about it, bearing too much weight or anything, but really allows you to have the maximum amount of, surface for any food prep you're doing. Now, in our drawers here, this is a good time to point out the woodwork that Renegade uses. So if you see here on the sides, all of these drawers are actually dovetail jointed. If you know anything about woodwork, that is, basically the highest quality woodwork you can get. This is all real hardwood, so very well done as far as their cabinetry goes. Another deep storage compartment up here. This one actually has a removable divider, so I can pop this out and put it in any one of these sections to customize the storage however you like. More storage underneath there. And And then our last storage compartment is going to be right here for our kitchen. And again, this has these removable dividers. So really nice feature if you're going to put like a skillet in here, pots and pans, being able to put them in there and have them actually stay separated, not clang around, is a really nice feature. Now, moving a little farther back, so our refrigerator has this little T-travel lock on it, which is a little out of place. That should be sitting in the middle, but you'll have a full residential refrigerator with an ice maker underneath. So one of the things Renegade is known for is kind of, extended stays, boondocking. And you have a refrigerator this large, obviously you'll be able to fit, at least a week or two worth of food in there. Above that's going to be our AV cabinet up there. So you'll have the HDMI ports in the back. This is a glass front, so any remotes you use will easily be able to transmit the signal through it. Back here's going to be our Samsung TV, again with the soundbar, Bluetooth soundbar underneath. There is no storage behind this TV because behind there is actually going to be the half bath, which we'll get to in a minute. But a little bit of more storage up here. This is, about 6 inches deep. So any small, maybe pantry items you could fit in there. And then the same thing down below. All right, now to finish off kind of our kitchen space, we have one more nice cabinet here. And all of those shelving in there is obviously adjustable, so you can customize this to whatever height you need. And down here is actually not going to be storage. This is going to be our breaker panels and our fuse box. They also have all the diagrams right here on the door, mainly for your service technicians, but it's nice to have that information there if you ever needed it. Now moving down here, we're going to have our washer dryer. So we will usually option our Veronas with the washer dryer. If you don't get the washer dryer, then you just have 2 more large storage compartments here. So you can always remove it. All right, so now we'll move into our half bathroom. So Jody, I'll let you get a shot of that real quick before I head in there. So one of the things I like about the half bath in the Verona is it's actually, the way it's shaped so long, it actually makes it a little bit more comfortable to use. You don't feel so much like you're in a coffin. So behind here, we're gonna have our medicine cabinet. Really deep storage because this is cut like a triangle, so you have a lot of usable space in there. We have the same exact solid surface countertops we saw in the kitchen with a matching tile backsplash. Down here is going to be just a little bit more storage underneath there for towels or anything you might need. But again, what I really like about how long this is, if you're sitting on the toilet, you don't feel cramped in here. You actually have plenty of room for your legs. A lot of coaches you see with the half bath, again, it feels kind of like a coffin. And then up above that, there's our last storage cabinet in here. And all the way on the ceiling, this is going to be one of our 2 Max Air exhaust fans. The other one's going to be in the bathroom in the rear. These do have rain sensors in them, so you don't have to worry about if it rains, they're going to close themselves. All right, so we'll head back into the bedroom now. So you have a pocket door right here that'll slide all the way across and close off this area. Our bed slide is completely out right now. So this is an RV king. It's not a standard king size. That means it's about 6 inches thinner this way and about 4 inches less length this way. I believe the exact dimensions are 72 or 74 by 76. Our storage is going to be back here. So on either side of your TV, you're going to have hanging storage cabinets right there. And again, you can really see the quality that Renegade puts into all of their woodwork. Nothing in here feels cheap. All of these drawers are soft close, all real hardwood, and it's just really beautiful cabinetry overall. So moving into under your TV here. Again, solid surface countertops that match what you have in the kitchen and in the bathroom, so everything in here matches. This is going to be your emergency exit window, so this will open all the way out if you need it to. Some more drawers in here. That's your TV remote sitting in there. On this side is going to be the AV compartment for that TV, so you have your satellite and your HDMI hookup in there. And then two really wide and long storage drawers underneath that. Got that stuck on something. Now, over here is going to be the exact same storage we saw, so we'll just go through it quickly. Again, hanging storage, same exact size as over there, and then all of these storage drawers all the way down. So his and hers storage, plenty of storage all the way down. Over our bed, we're going to have 3 more opening compartments. Can't get that last one for you, but you can see this goes all the way across, same way we saw in the kitchen. You do have a 110 outlet there in the back, so if you need to put anything up there and charge it, you can. We have opening windows on either side of the bed with the same pull down day and night shades we saw everywhere else. Now, on either side of the bed, you have these little cutouts right here, which are really nice, just functional spaces for your cell phones, tablets, anything that you kind of bring to bed with you and want to keep nearby. And we also have USB-A and USB-C charging and a 110 outlet right there. So any of your personal devices you can keep right by your bedside and keep them plugged in all night. One cool thing to mention here, if you can kind of see it, Jody, you actually have a panel above your head in the bedroom that allows you to control all the lights in here. So you can control our water pump there, our ceiling lights. You can turn all the interior lights on. You can start the generator or stop the generator. So if you're running your generator, you get into bed at the end of the night, you realize you don't want to have it running anymore and you don't want to listen to that buzzing. You don't even have to get out of bed. You can just switch it off right there. On either side, we have little nightstands. So just a little bit more storage space. And again, same exact solid surface countertops we see everywhere throughout this coach. So everything matches really nicely. One more quick thing here, show you the little bit of storage we have underneath the bed. Well, not really storage, but just show you what's going on under here. So underneath the bed is going to be your 150 gallons of fresh water. So you have 2 75-gallon freshwater tanks. Now, what's really important about this being under your bed is that if you're not cold, they're not cold. So if you're camping in, cold climates, you don't have to worry about your freshwater tanks freezing. As long as you keep the climate, in here habitable to you, you're not going to have a problem with your tanks. We also have the water pump in here. So if you ever need to access that for anything, it's really easy to get to. And this is on gas struts, so it'll keep itself open. All right, so finally we'll head back into the bedroom. Again, same pocket door that'll close all the way across this. I'm sorry, the bathroom. You do have a corner shower back here. So a little bit of a smaller shower for a 40-foot motorhome, but because this is a bath and a half, that's kind of what you get. Still plenty of room in here. So, I'm about 5'11" with shoes on. I have more than enough height. I'm not even seeing over the edge of this. So still very comfortable. Not gonna feel too cramped in there. And we have a little travel lock on that, so you never have to worry about these doors banging open and breaking while you're in transit. Again, medicine cabinet in here. Up on the ceiling, we're gonna have our other Max Air exhaust fan. Again, rain sensor, so you don't have to ever worry about that, being left open in the rain or anything. Solid surface countertops and the matching tile backsplash. Again, same thing we saw in the kitchen and the half bathroom. Underneath this, we're gonna have our storage as well as actually your toilet paper holder. So you can still reach this just fine from the toilet, so it's not really an awkward position for you. Now back here, we have these little storage sections right here. A lot of people will actually put like cargo nets on these just to make sure anything they put in there, you don't have to worry about it falling out when you're going down the road. Just makes the space a little bit more usable. Next to the sink, we do have a 110 outlet right there. So if you need to plug in electric toothbrushes or anything like that, you have a place right on your sink to do that. More storage all the way back here. So pretty good storage for our full bathroom. And then our last storage is going to be up there. All right, so now we're going to head up to the front of the coach and we'll go over what remains up there. That'll cover everything in our bathroom and our bedroom. So one more thing to mention real quick, all the flooring throughout here is going to be LVP. Obviously you have your little bit of carpeting on the slide right there, but for the most part this is really easy to keep clean. You don't have to worry about dogs or kids damaging it too much. So this one was optioned with the Verona Cabover Bunk. This is an option. You could have overhead cabinetry here as well, but most of them will do with the Cabover Bunk. Obviously this is going to add additional sleeping for 2 more adults. This is very long. This is actually a little bit bigger than I'd say a queen bed. So over on the right hand side you actually have a TV for whoever's up there, so they have their own personal entertainment. On our left side over here we have a little bit of storage up here for any personal devices. There's an outlet right here on the side, again with USB-A and USB-C charging. They'll have their own control panel up here, so they can turn off all the interior lights, turn them all on. There's also, on the rear back there, you have a little window with a power shade right there, so that'll be controlled from this panel. And if you can look up above here, Jody, you actually have 2 AC vents that are dedicated for that Cabover Bunk. So you don't have to worry about cooking anyone that's up there. You know, with that window, the Cabover Bunk sometimes can get really hot, but having those vents there really kind of, you know, keeps that from being an issue. So we have a collapsible ladder right here. This will just extend all the way out like that. We hang it on there. So makes it really easy for any of your passengers to climb up in there. It's not too tight. And then finally, this does have a privacy curtain. So this will go all the way across. Really nice option for any, you know, any adults to kind of have their own space up there. So one thing that's nice about this Cabover Bunk too is when it comes, you know, you can leave it in position and you can get into the cab pretty easily. I only have to bend over a little bit. If you do hit your head on it, like I've done many, many times, this is kind of comfortable on the front. So, you know, it's not like a hard piece of wood. You're not gonna put a dent in the side of your head. But if you wanna just push this off, all you have to do is push this forward. The way the mattress is actually shaped, it has this little kind of curve right here. So as you push this forward, it'll just stack those mattresses right on top of each other. Really easy to take down. Now, one of the things that's nice with the Cabover Bunk too, some people say, well, I'm never really gonna use it. This whole platform can just be completely taken out of here and you'll have this carpet all the way around. So what some people will do is they'll just put some tie downs up there, put a bunch of containers up there and use it for additional storage. So if you're not gonna use the Cabover Bunk too much, it's still a nice feature to have because, you know, we have the nice window up there, but we also have, you know, we can use that for storage if we want to. Heading into the cab here, this does have, I can't get that button undone right now, but we do have a privacy shade that will wrap all the way around this window. So, you know, you're sitting at the campground, you don't have to worry about anybody who will see into these windows. Now, I'll go ahead and start it real quick. We'll show you a few things here. So, both of these seats are gonna be air ride seats. So, you can see right now, I can air it up, raise this all the way up, or air it down. So on the Verona, you have front leaf suspension, front leaf springs and rear air suspension. So having the air ride seats really compensates for that. Really takes a lot of the bumps off in the road, just makes it a bit more comfortable for you. So down here, we're gonna have our AC controls. And then show you a few of the things that are going on right here. So this is gonna be our 4-way switch, or hazards. That's gonna be the step lights for the cab, so on your passenger and driver side. This is the light for your footwell. So that's actually a light underneath my feet. If you're ever driving at night and you drop something down there, it's a nice thing to have to be able to, you know, remove anything that might be dangerous to have rolling around down there. Right here is gonna be your shutdown override switch. So what that does is if for some reason your engine was to put itself in limp mode, which it does to protect itself, and this happened to you in the middle of the highway, Obviously that can create a dangerous situation. So the shutdown override will temporarily remove it from limp mode. It'll give you power to be able to just get off the road, get to a safe place. These two right here are just programmable for any additional lighting or things like that that you add to it. This is your overhead light, your ATC controls, so we can turn off your traction control right there, your diff lock, and your suspension dump. So your suspension dump is for your rear air suspension. If you're trying to hook up kind of a low to the ground trailer, you can't get the hitch all the way up, you can dump the suspension and it'll just lower that in the rear a little bit to make it a little bit easier for you. Over here is going to be your EQ leveling system. So this does have a 4-point hydraulic leveling system. It's all automatic. All we have to do is press auto level right there and the coach is going to do it all itself. Up here is going to be our Garmin navigation system. Not really too much I can show you on here because everything on here kind of requires you to be paired to the Garmin app. But the cool thing with this is this whole thing is just a tablet that comes right off. It's magneted on there. So if you're driving, you can just hand this off to your passenger. You don't have to lean way forward because obviously the dash is a little bit far away from you. But you can completely remove this and use any of the controls on here you want to. When that's removed, you can still control your stereo system on here. So your volume, your mute button, your skip, if you want to skip songs or anything. So if this is gone, you're not completely helpless. Now on our shifter right here, so this is equipped with the Allison transmission. So this little shifter, if you can see that right there, Jody, we just have drive, neutral, and reverse, and you just shift it forward, neutral, reverse, just like that. Now if you want to put this into manual, you're going to press this little button here at the end and hold it until you'll see on the dash it'll shift into manual, and then this works as a paddle shifter. So just up and down just like that. Now this does have a 3-stage engine brake that is also controlled from this shifter right here. So we have low, medium, and high for our engine brake. It's all controlled right there. Over here is going to be your air brake, since this is equipped with air brakes. And then just a few items on the steering wheel. Right here, you just use this little pad to control what's going on there on the dash. So we have our trip MPG average. This is just going to be a little bit more information about that. Your speed, your driving assistance, your DPF filter, your gauges you can see on there, TPMS monitor, which it does have a built-in TPMS monitor, your alerts. That's actually going to show your engine hours right there. More information about your oil life, filters, and then just settings on here. So you could change the dash brightness, units if you want to change it to kilometers instead of miles per hour. Anything like that can be done on there. And then one more thing to mention, this does have the Freightliner safety assurance package. So that is lane guidance, electronic stability control, and collision mitigation is built into this coach. And then finally, up top is going to be our camera. So right now we're looking at our backup camera, or our rear view camera, but show you those side cameras real quick. So if I put on my left blinker, this is going to switch to our left camera right there. If I put on my right blinker, that'll switch to our right camera. So it makes it really nice, especially if you're going down single lane roads, you're trying to avoid clipping a curb. Being able to actually watch that mirror really helps, again, just to avoid curbs and avoid any accidents like that. All right, that'll wrap up our tour for today. Again, my name is Peter C. All my information is right here. If you have any questions about this coach, you want to stop by the dealership to take a tour of it, anything at all, feel free to email me or call me at that number, 719-799-8357. Thanks for watching our video.